The 89th Texas legislature is in full swing. Thousands of bills have been filed with a whole lot more expected. Accordingly, the debate details on bills can get overlooked, even on critical legislation. That's why we've asked legislators to come to TPPF to discuss their bills to ensure you're on top of the most important issues making their way through the Capitol. This is the layout. I'm Jose Melendez, Campaign Director of TPPF's Taxpayer Protection Project. Today we are discussing Senate Bill 310 with Senator Bryan Hughes from Senate District 1. Chairman Hughes, welcome to the layout.
Thanks for having me.
So Senate Bill 310 seeks to ban ranked choice voting in Texas. Tell us what sparked the need for this bill.
So ranked choice voting is, at its heart, undemocratic. The winner of a ranked choice voting election is often not the one that got the most votes. That seems bizarre, because it is. This is a terrible idea. It's being pushed by left-wing fringe groups, and voters are figuring out how bad it is. More and more states are banning it. And so we want to make sure that in Texas, we have elections where the majority candidate wins and people know who they're voting for. So it's important we make sure ranked choice voting doesn't take hold in Texas.
So for a moment, take us through this bill and tell us how it works.
You bet. So with ranked choice voting, let's say there are multiple candidates. Let's say there's 4 candidates. When you go to vote, you are supposed to rank your choices 1, 2, 3, and 4. Unfortunately, most people don't do that. They'll pick their first choice and go home, or their first and second choice. And when you do that, your vote often doesn't even count. So ranked choice voting is supposed to eliminate the need for runoffs and just do an automatic runoff based on the votes. It takes a long time for them to tabulate the results. And in at least a half a dozen cases now, they've certified the wrong winner. Happened again last year in 2 different races in California. Ranked choice voting, the election's over, they declare the winner, and then someone goes back and looks, and they figure out, sorry, he didn't win, she won. Crazy. It takes a long time, it's confusing, it's undemocratic. So our bill says, in Texas, we want to clarify the law. In Texas, the majority candidate wins the election, not ranked choice voting. Very simple.
So let's say Senate Bill 310 passes and it's implemented. How would the lives of Texans be impacted by this?
It's a great question. So far, we don't have anyone doing ranked choice voting in Texas. Some cities have toyed with it, have discussed it. Our election code today doesn't say you can, and it doesn't say you can't. The Attorney General years ago did an opinion saying ranked choice voting is not allowed. And so did the Secretary of State years ago. But we don't have a statute that specifically spells out this is illegal in Texas. And so that's what it would do. The good news is we're ahead of this. You know, Alaska has had a horrible time with ranked choice voting and jungle primary. It's been confusing to people. By the way, the voters in Alaska came within a hair's breadth of repealing ranked choice voting just a few months ago. We believe they will repeal it given the opportunity. So this would preserve the system we have in Texas, where the person you vote for the person you like, and the one that gets the most votes wins, as elections should be.
That's exactly right. So some people would say that ranked choice voting gives voters more choices at the ballot box. How would you respond to those folks?
Oh, it's very appealing, and on its surface, it sounds good. But as a practical matter, it hasn't worked that way in states and cities that have tried it. Again, most voters, even in ranked choice voting, go in and choose their first candidate and leave, or maybe they choose 1 and 2. But the way it works with ranked choice voting, let's say you go and you vote for the person you really like, my opponent, for example, whoever that would be, you vote for that guy, and that's okay. Let's say you vote for that guy and then you leave. Well, under ranked choice voting, if your guy doesn't make it in the first round, your vote's thrown out, and your vote doesn't even count in the next rounds they do trying to get to the winner. They end up with a candidate that the majority of people did not choose as their first choice. It's a really bad idea.
Lastly, you've traveled the state. You've gone around District 1. What have folks told you about this bill, and what's the feedback?
Some people hear about ranked choice voting, and it piques their interest. It sounds interesting. When they do a little research and realize how it works, folks I've heard from agree this is not something we need to mess with in Texas.
Well, Senator, thank you for joining us here in the layout.
Thanks for having me.